Hey, what up guys, Mitsuownes. In today's note to talk about why the Mortal Kombat 1 Pro competition is in danger. Casuals, pros, and content creators alike are criticizing the Mortal Kombat 1 Pro League to the point where some established pro players don't even compete. To further understand this issue, let's go back in time and see how everything NRS Pro League related started. The year is 2015. The highly anticipated release of Mortal Kombat X was upon us, and it came out with a bang. Just a few days before its release, an offline exhibition tournament under the name Fatal 8 was held by the Electronic Sports League, or short ESL. To this day, it remains as an iconic Mortal Kombat event. The prize pool for the Fatal 8 was $10,000. Once MKX officially released, it was time for the Mortal Kombat X Pro League. To prepare for the actual league, a preseason was being held, offering players the chance to get familiar with the platform and accustomed to tournament nerves. There were 4 preseason cups for NA and EU each, and 2 cups for the CIS region, each cup offering a prize pool worth $500. Moving on to the actual Pro League, the qualification process was done online. For 2 months, players from NA, EU, and CIS battled it out within their regions respectively to qualify for the season finals in Burbank. Not only did the players fight for points, but also for money, as each week a total of $1,000 was rewarded to the players of each region. More opportunities to both qualify as well as to earn more prize money were hosted, such as the mid-season showdown for each region worth $2,500 each, as well as the CIS season finals worth $5,000. The Mortal Kombat X Pro League season finals was the climax of the league, offering a staggering $100,000 to the players. Now keep in mind, this is all happening in 2015, so this is a huge deal. To my knowledge, no other fighting game put up that kind of money for pro players at that time, right until late 2015 with the Capcom Cup. The MKX Pro League was so successful that a second season was held, offering another $100,000 for the finals. Now let's talk about the third season of the MKX Pro League. The ESL introduced a stepping stone for the Pro League called Challenger Cup. It was a similar system with players fighting for points and prize money. The top 4 earners qualified for the monthly finals, competing for $1,000. A total of $500 was rewarded for each qualifier. But I'm not bringing this up because of the money. The interesting thing is that ESL actively created an outlet for those who maybe didn't find that much success in the actual Pro League, which I think was a great idea. The Season 3 finals then offered a prize pool worth $200,000, with the winner earning a total of $75,000. Warner Brothers spent around $500,000 towards prize money alone during the lifespan of Mortal Kombat X. But where did that money come from? MKX offered 2 very special skins, the Blue Steel Sub-Zero skin and the Crimson Ermac skin. Those weren't just special because of the unique look, but because of the fact that a portion of the proceeds went towards the prize money of the Mortal Kombat X Pro League. But let's hear from the former creative producer at ESL, Joshua Gray himself.
The number one thing to overcome was the dedication of the developers to create the items. And they had to find which item they felt that could actually add to the campaign, which is where the Blue Steel Sub-Zero skin came from. They had already made that skin. And then after we had told them we can create this type of program, then they're like, okay, we'll make the funds for the purchase of that skin go towards it. And then Warner Brothers did the Eternal numbers, and they hit us up a month later going, holy shit, this did very well, so well that it's going to fund 2 more seasons.
Moving on to the next major NRS title, Injustice 2. The competitive scene for Injustice 2 was much more complex, and I'll try to keep it simple. WB dedicated themselves to esports even more and decided to run the program essentially themselves, but with the help of different partners, ESL being one of those partners. However, they weren't in charge anymore. One of the competitive programs was the so-called Hometown Heroes, an initiative operated by ESL and hosted by GameStop. The program was aimed towards less experienced players, therefore, just like the MKX Challenger Cup, offering a stepping stone for the Pro Series. After 10 weeks of online play, the top 4 players from each of the 8 US regions traveled to a local GameStop store, with each winner qualifying for the Hometown Hero Finals at the GameStop Consumer Expo in Las Vegas, fighting for a share of $5,000. The Path to Pro program was hosted by ESL for the European region, enabling players from all skill levels to qualify for the EU finals. For 12 weeks, players fought for points and over $600 every single week. The EU Grand Finals offered a prize pool worth of $12,000. The third program was Liga Latina, operated by NRS Esports Professional League, a great opportunity for the LATAM scene to showcase their skill with both online and offline qualifiers leading up to a grand final. And of course, the Injustice 2 Pro Series, the creme de la creme of the competitive scene. 4 months full of tournaments determined the 16 qualifying players. While there were some online events, the majority of points were won by placing at offline majors such as Vignali and CEO, and placing within the top 8 was well awarded, as each major received a pot bonus worth $20,000, all leading up to the Injustice 2 Pro Series finals held in Los Angeles, worth a total of $200,000, and that wasn't even everything Injustice 2 had to offer. In 2017, Turner and E-League announced the E-League Injustice 2 World Championship, essentially a climax of all competitive Injustice 2 programs. 16 qualified players were invited, the top 8 of the IPS Grand Finals, and the top 2 from each other program, so Hometown Heroes, Path to Pro, Liga Latina, and 2 E-League Last Chance qualifiers. And the prize pool set an NRS Esports record with a total of $250,000 split among the players. It might be worth noting that the players ran into some issues and didn't have the smoothest experience at some point during the first season of the IPS. That's when the company Intersport came into play to operate the second season of the IPS. Season 2 offered 5 ways to qualify for the Grand Finals, those being through points through the Intercontinental Championship, a program for EU West, EU East, Middle East, and Australia, Liga Latina, the Injustice 2 Elite Circuit, also known as Northern Arena in Canada, and finally a Last Chance qualifier. The prize pool, however, dropped during Season 2. Offline majors received a pot bonus worth $10,000 each, and the IPS Finals was worth $100,000. In total, around $600,000 in prize money were split among the players. Again, where did that money come from? Every single Injustice 2 character, so DLC included, received a so-called tournament shader, essentially a skin. A portion of the proceeds then went towards Injustice 2 tournaments, proving once again the power of crowdfunding. Come 2019, Mortal Kombat 11 gets released and the Pro Competition revealed. A long season from May all the way to December with 9 different majors, each receiving a $15,000 prize bonus. Once again, different regions received additional ways to qualify for the finals, those being Mortal Kombat Clash for the Canadians, Intercontinental Combat for the regions EU, Oceania, and the Middle East, and Liga Latina for Latin America. The Last Chance qualifier served as an additional way to qualify for the finals. Again, the main focus was placed on offline majors, traveling to tournaments, getting deep into the tournament bracket, and gathering important points. The top 16 gathered for Final Combat in Chicago, fighting for a total of $100,000. Mortal Kombat 11, however, offered many more opportunities for pro players and content creators alike to win prize money. The Summit of Time, the Twitch Rivals Showdown Series, the Twitch Rivals Tower Challenge, the We Play Dragon Temple and Ultimate Fighting League Season 1, as well as weekly E-League events. Combined, these events alone offered way over $200,000 in prize money, separately from the Pro Competition. In 2020, COVID put many parts of the world on hold, and esports was no exception. While MK11 received a second season of the Pro Competition, it was held entirely online. The league was divided into 3 regions: the Intercontinental Combat, the North American League, and Liga Latina. A respectable $60,000 was split among the players. And that concludes the throwback of the NRS Esports circuits over the last years, which brings us to 2023. With Capcom announcing a jaw-dropping $2 million prize pool for their Pro Tour, the anticipation for the NRS Esports announcement was huge, knowing that NRS set the bar high for their competitors in 2015, and the fact that Mortal Kombat is the best-selling fighting game franchise out there. The Mortal Kombat 1 Pro Competition was officially revealed on October 6th. The details included 4 offline majors and 3 online events per region. A total of 20 players will qualify for Final Combat, happening in 2024, consisting of 10 online regional finals winners, the top 9 players on the global leaderboard, and the Last Chance qualifier winner. Unfortunately, the full breakdown of the Pro Competition and official rulebook were still missing at that time. The problem with that was that the first major, ECT, was less than 2 weeks away at that time, so the announcement seemed rather rushed. A week later, more details followed, such as the prize money for each major, that being $10,000, as well as the prize pool for each regional qualifier, which is $2,500. Each regional final will receive $5,000, and the climax of the league, Final Kombat, will award $100,000 to the players. Which brings us to now. Why is the Mortal Kombat 1 Pro competition in danger? First of all, there seem to be major communication problems. Keep in mind, the Mortal Kombat 1 Pro competition is a collaboration of 3 brands, WB Games, NRS, and newly RTS, replacing Intersport. So getting the message out there to the players involves multiple entities. As mentioned, the pro competition announcement and the first major were less than 2 weeks apart. As a matter of fact, only 2 days before the registration for ECT closed. But thankfully, the team extended the sign-up period for MK1 players. The other issue is the lack of information. Just until Friday, it wasn't properly communicated where the third major would take place, but now it got officially postponed. It also wasn't known whether or not Omni-Man was going to be legal at the upcoming major UFA, and it wasn't until Friday either that we got the official confirmation. There's generally a lot of unnecessary question marks. Which brings me to another point. Remember how both MKX and Injustice 2 offered stepping stone programs for less advanced players? Well, it looks like they are handling things differently with MK1, almost trying to please both sides within the pro competition. Let's read this tweet from the official NRS Esports account. To prevent penalizing those who can't make every event, only the 3 best offline and 2 best online placements count towards their global leaderboard score. So essentially gatekeeping the professional player who wants to put everything into the pro competition. Now one could argue, if you place third 3 times, you are qualified anyway, let others win. But that's not very realistic for most players anyway. For example, let's say you travel to all 4 majors and place 9th, 7th, 5th, and 7th again, which is a very consistent result. But instead of your 320 points, you only get rewarded a total of 280 points, as your 9th place finish doesn't count towards your standing. And how many times have we seen players not qualify due to the slightest margin? I feel like in a professional competition, the actual professional trying his absolute best shouldn't be punished for his efforts or investments. And finally, let's address the elephant in the room, the prize pool. The entirety of the Mortal Kombat 1 Pro competition offers $265,000 worth of prize money. As mentioned earlier, $10,000 for each offline major. Let's break that down with the help of an example. One of my favorite international players is Tekken Master. Tekken Master is based in Bahrain. The next major is being held in Paris, France. A flight from Bahrain to Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport for the dates of the tournament would be around 660 euro. A decent hotel not too far from the venue costs about 500 euro. Tekken Master also needs to eat, so let's add another 30 euro per day, so another 150 in total. He also needs rides to the airport and from the airport to the hotel, so let's go ahead and calculate another 150. The total for this imaginary trip is 1,460 euro, which is not unrealistic at all. Now take a look at this. Even if he places third, which is a great achievement, he still loses money on his trip. And keep in mind, this is an example for a trip to France from Bahrain. For other international players, a trip to the United States might actually lose them money even if they win the whole tournament. Now obviously, at the end of the pro competition, it could all be worth it by placing well at Final Kombat. But none of that is guaranteed. The player placing well at each major isn't guaranteed, qualifying for Final Kombat isn't guaranteed, and doing well at Final Kombat isn't guaranteed. So overall, a tough situation for many players, especially international players. One of my favorite NRS tournament matchups is Foxy Grandpa versus Tekken Master. However, both of them have this problem, which they voice openly and publicly. And many more professional players, perhaps your favorite pro players as well included, have skipped the first major or are even thinking about skipping the pro competition as a whole. And that would be unfortunate. We want to see the best of the best battle it out at each major, the very best the competitive NRS esports scene has to offer. But in order for that to happen, it has to be worth it for the players. With all that being said, how do we fix this issue? Well, don't listen to me, listen to the pro players themselves.
I would like to see from pro competition maybe more countries we've never seen before: Japan, Korea, Thailand, Africa as well, countries from Africa. I would like to see more passion from the players, I would like to see more balance changes, maybe. But I would like to see effort from both sides. Let's everyone keep practicing, keep training, and try for our best.
We thrive to become one of the best in the world, and it takes a lot of effort to do so, especially that I live in the Middle East and most of the tournaments are happening in the US. So for me to travel there, it has to be worth it, you know. Yes, of course, we travel for the love of the game, but at the same time, we definitely have things to take care of in our life. We need to pay bills and all of that. And when they announced the Street Fighter 6, the Capcom Cup Pro Tour, they announced 2 million, and we expected NRS to match the energy, you know. If it's not 2 million, at least 1 million, something close, you know. That makes sense for us to grind this much for the game and travel to make our dream come true. But unfortunately, we got very much shocked and disappointed with the news that the pro competition has been supported with like 250k, very minimum, you know, 10k each offline tournament, which is really not justifying enough for us to travel. And for me to break even, I have to get first in those offline tournaments, which doesn't make sense, of course. And even imagine you place top 8 winner side, which is really good considering that you qualified for top 8 winners. And then if you lose, you get only $350, which is for 5th place. And it's very disappointing. I hope this get fixed. They hear us, they improve on it. I will never give up on NRS yet. I will keep playing Mortal Kombat 1 and hopefully, they hear us. I hope we get heard from NRS Warner Brother and they invest more into the esports side. We will be happy then.
Okay, so my honest opinion on MK1 Pro Competition as of now is that we are really going backwards. Since we used to have much better than this in previous games, and considering that MK1 is a new game and all this stuff, so we have really expected to see much more majors, much higher prize pools and all this stuff, but it was completely the opposite, which is really demotivating. And I hope that this will change in Season 2, where we see, for example, majors in different countries, we see more international players, and as of now, and speaking on behalf of the NRS community, I think the situation is really disappointing.
I think the biggest change that needs to be done or could be done, I don't know why it's not being done, is the same thing that was in MKX with the crowdfunding skin. They're throwing out skins now for $10 a skin. Why can't they throw out just some ghetto skin for $2 like they did in MKX, and then we have an entire Pro Tour? It's worth competing. I don't understand. It's probably something out of our control. And then any other complaint that anybody could have about the current Pro Tour would be removed just on that merit, because you've now got prize pools to make more tournaments. More people will be interested in competing. It's actually worth your time, because currently it's not worth being the best. You're gonna be training to be Sonic Fox, Ninja Killer, Tekken Master, the Chilean Twins, me, Hayate, Tweedy, all these people rewind, and at the end of it you get 30k, which is like, you're better off just not doing that, because first off, it's a gamble, and second off, even if you win that gamble, you would have still been better off just working pretty much a minimum wage job. So, that's my thoughts.
If you made it this far into the video, I think by now you too understand why the MK1 Pro competition is in danger. And I think that the solution on how to save it is obvious, by going back to the formula that worked, not just for WNRS but for esports globally: crowdfunding. During MKX, there were some players who owned the crowdfunding skins on multiple systems just to support the scene. Let us support ourselves by allowing us to buy in-game items and keep a portion of the proceeds for the pro competition. In my mind, it is a win-win situation. WNRS generates revenue, the competitive scene thrives again, and just by the way, it's good PR too. Imagine if they release a new Fatality, but with a portion of the proceeds going towards the Pro Tour. I'm fairly certain that there wouldn't have been that kind of backlash. With more funds, more and more players could do this for a living, we would have greater variety again in the brackets, as well as more offline majors. Giving online-only players a chance to make it to the big stage is great, and that should always be the case, but offline is where it's at, where the player is not in the comfort of his home, where there is a crowd, bright lights, cameras, a true test of mental strength. So going forward, I hope the focus gets switched to offline majors again. Now, for those of you thinking, what are you all whining about? Be grateful that WBNRS is giving you something at least. Do you really think that they're giving away money just to satisfy some gamers? Well, in that case, let me open your eyes. Providing an esports tour has many benefits, one of them being the ability to push DLC sales. Don't believe me on this? Well, let's go back a bit. The first season finals of the Mortal Kombat X Pro Tour featured a Predator show match promoting both the Predator DLC and the Johnny Cage Commando skin. The finals of the second season included a live combat cast showing off the upcoming DLC Triborg. The MKX Pro League Season 3 finals then premiered the Injustice 2 trailer, including a social media campaign involving the pro players. But wait, there is more. Injustice 2 IPS Finals 2017 Raiden DLC reveal, E-League World Championships, Ninja Turtles DLC, Mortal Kombat 11 Final Combat, Spawn DLC gameplay trailer, while the Netherrealm channel was on the Twitch front page. Just to set the record straight, these are not donations the competitive players are getting. WBNRS is winning, breaking record after record, so if other companies can provide for their competitive esports scene, so can they. There are so many in-game items that can be purchased right now in the store. All they have to do is dedicate at least one of them towards crowdfunding and let the magic happen. I truly believe that if this video is seen by the right eyes and heard by the right ears, it can make a change for the better. A change for WB, NRS, and the competitive scene. They could be the trendsetter again, like back in 2015, just by simply allowing us to support us. But with that being said, this video, thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you guys later. Mitsuownes signing out.